भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतीरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा पदामह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरोन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। मुखं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमस्ति श्रीगुरुं दीनकारणं परमानन्दं श्री चैतन्य। Hare Krishna. Thank you everyone for being here on this most auspicious day of Shri Balaram Jayanti. So wishes and prayers on this auspicious day, and begging all your blessings as I push forward in the all the other devotees, so that I can share something in the for the pleasure of Shri Shraddha Malidhar, in glorification of Shri Balaramji, and for all our inspiration and devotional service, and for my own purification. Here, reading about Balaramji from the pastime of Balaramji killing Pralambasura. So we'll just recite one verse and then start with the narration of the story. So I'll choose the very first verse. I'll just recite the Sanskrit myself. Pashun Charayator Gopais Tadvane Ramakrishna. Tadvane Ramakrishna Yoho Goparupi Pralambo Agad Asuras Tad Jihir Shaya. Translation and purport by the disciples of Srila Prabhupada. While Rama, Krishna, and their cowherd friends were thus tending the cows in that Vrindavan forest, the demon Pralambha entered their midst. He had assumed the form of a cowherd boy with the intention of kidnapping Krishna and Balaram. Purport. Having described how Krishna and Balaram acted just like ordinary boys, Shukadeva Goswami will now reveal one of the Lord's transcendental pastimes that is beyond the range of human activity. According to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, the demon Pralamba disguised himself as a particular cowherd boy who on that day had remained at home with duties to perform. So we just recited the invocation prayers. So Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nityananda. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvasesha Shunyavadi Paschyata Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. So on this auspicious occasion of Balaram Jayanti, we can reflect upon our condition in this material existence, and how by the grace of the spiritual master, that one actually receives spiritual knowledge and receives this great fortune of devotional service. We recite this prayer, Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. That how we are all lost in this material world, blinded by spiritual ignorance or material ignorance. Because of that, we perform many materialistic activities and get completely bound in this matrix of karma and revolving in this material world for millions and millions and millions of lifetimes without having an opportunity to be able to engage again in the original nature of the spirit soul. Because from the activities that we perform, especially the sinful activities, there are 5 types of material sufferings that arise. First is called as ignorance. What is the prominent what is ignorance that arises from sinful activities is actually we mistake impermanent to be the permanent. We become so attached and attracted to material things which are temporary, and we become we assume them. We don't even have a tinge of doubt that this temporary thing will not actually survive. It won't come with me. This is not permanent. Whereas I am permanent as the spirit soul. So that very thought does not even cross the minds of people. Believe me, in the face of this world, there are civilizations that have gone by without having crossed this layer of ignorance. That this material thing is temporary and it won't come with me, and I am a spirit soul, and this thing will not be able to actually permanently follow me. And then even if people have some understanding of what is temporary and what is permanent, because we come in the association of devotees, we understand what is temporary, what is permanent. However, we have a strong bodily identification. So that is also a sign of previous activities which were not very devotional. So that is called as asmita. We become very strongly overwhelmed with bodily identification. That is called as false ego. And we also have a tendency to accept only sense perception. Whatever actually I can see, hear, feel, logically accept, that's what actually is true. Anything beyond the purview of my ability to grasp and analyze and understand does not exist. So that is a second sign of strong material suffering that we receive from our activities from the past. That is also a strong false ego. And on top of that, we develop a strong attachment for desiring material happiness. We know this is temporary, and we also know I'm not this body, I'm a spirit soul. But this desire for material happiness and the means to achieve it becomes very dear to one, and it becomes very difficult to give up that attachment. So that is called as raga. And because we have attachment to material happiness, we also develop hatred towards people who come in that way, come in way between our happiness and us, and the causes of those unhappiness. We become we develop hatred. That's called as dvesha. And because of all these things, we have acquired a particular nature. We're all wearing a mask in this world. Physically, sometimes it is not very visible. It's a very subtle mask that we are all wearing internally. So we have an acquired nature. We like certain things, we dislike certain things, people, places, and we all have, and the whole world, if you go around and see, it's all based on that. There is differences, and then there is whole school of how, like, people are interested in enjoying fine food. So then there is a whole industry based on fine food, or like fine clothes. What to speak of even those things like sound okay, but there is also even tamasic kind of enjoyments, kind of music, kind of fashion, which does not make sense. However, like, I was just standing in the subway station yesterday night, and people were dressed in certain ways, were passing through, and my first thought was a strong judgment. Oh, what is this? And then I realized how I had to like remind myself, actually, beyond all of these things, we are all actually spirit souls. That people may be dressed in certain ways, and we are all trying to enjoy world in different ways. And when that thought came to me, I could like push my judgment away and see, okay, I'm also that in that level of consciousness where I see this world as a place for enjoyment, and I have my own ways of doing it. And we are lost completely in this world. Like, there is not even a trace of doubt that this is illusion and I'm stuck in this matrix, and there is no like how I should get out of it. So that is our fortune, that we have, through the mercy of our spiritual masters, Srila Prabhupada, and through the mercy of Krishna, that he has sent so many acharyas and have come personally, and Balaramji is personally the Guru Tattva, that because of their mercy, that we have even got this idea, oh, this whole thing is temporary and I'm supposed to get out of this, and be able to exchange love with Krishna and Balaram in Vrindavan forest, as this particular 18th chapter of Bhagavatam describes. The beginning of this chapter is so beautiful. It speaks about how Krishna and Balaram are enjoying with their cowherd friends. Very sweet. Like, sometimes the cowherd boys would play with certain fruits which were big. They would throw, but if the fruits were actually ripe, they would just like break open when they're trying to catch. So there would be fruit juices everywhere. So the boys were like really playing with each other in the beautiful forest of Vrindavan. Every day they would play different games. So, and they would play music, and they imitate the frogs, and they play various jokes. In this way, the whole chapter, the first 18 verses, is a good, or like an object of meditation, the first 16, 17 verses. And in this way, they are all tending the cows in that Vrindavan forest. Especially on this particular day, they are in a forest called as Bhandiravan. So this forest, in the Anand Vrindavan Chapu and other places, they write that this tree, the banyan tree, was so huge that Krishna and Balaram, along with his cowherd friends and with the cows and the calves, they would actually, there was one branch which would cross the Yamuna river. So that was on the other side of the Yamuna river. They would walk on that branch and cross the river. That's how huge the tree was in Krishna's time. And here Shukadeva Goswami says, like the purport says, Shukadeva Goswami will now reveal one of the Lord's transcendental pastimes that is beyond the range of human activity. So the moment we think, oh, logically it does not make sense, and that's why the purport is saying it's beyond the range of human logic or activity. And one day, it is said that when Krishna and Balaram were growing in Vrindavan, Tamsa was in anxiety. He was completely absorbed in those 5 layers of what we just described, in terms of avidya, ignorance, attachment, and also hatred, strong hatred. He developed a strong hatred towards the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And every demon that he would recruit, he was like a mafia boss. So he recruited all other smaller thugs and kept them under his control and used them when he wanted, as he wanted. So he controlled all these various demons, and he kept sending the best of the lot. He started with Putana because he thought, if you can get away with a subtle way of getting rid of your enemy, so that's best. So he sent Putana, who disguised herself. So the whole thing could be accomplished very easily without creating much doubt and much attention. So more like a Mossad or a CIA. You send a spy. So you get your work done in a very subtle way, then you're not to be blamed later. However, every one of his plans and the demons he sent were actually getting liberated by Krishna and Balaram. So finally, he chose Pralamba. Pralamba has a very special reason also. He was very fearful that Kamsa, if he fails, that Kamsa would kill him. However, he could not say no to Kamsa either. So if you fail the mission, you will be punished. If you won't do the mission, you will be punished. So he thought, okay, instead of dying in the hands of Kamsa, let me go and check what happens with Krishna and Balaram. But he was very fearful of Krishna. He was extremely fearful of Krishna because all the demons that he looked up to, his idols in the demon world, all his seniors and celebrities of the demon world, they were all killed by Krishna or Balaram, but most of them were killed by Krishna. So he was specifically slightly fearful of Krishna, but he could not express his fear to Kamsa because Kamsa would then punish him. So he says, yeah, sure, I will achieve what you want me to. As he proceeds to Vrindavan, he thinks, Krishna seems to be a very difficult target. So let me start with Balaram. So if I at least accomplish killing Balaram, then I could go and tell Kamsa that I got something done, give me another option to go and attack Krishna. So he was buying time. So that's why he thought, today I need to make Balaram as my focus. He has no idea who's Balaram. So he's thinking, okay, Balaram would be an easy target compared to Krishna. And how he wanted to come was, he did not want it to come and attack directly. Then he would be attacked both by Krishna and Balaram together. So he wanted to again come in a very subtle form. And the best way, he thought that Krishna would not attack him if he took a form of one of his friends. So one of the cowherd boys had his birthday that day. And usually, if you see, Balaramji also on his birthdays would miss going to the forest because they had spiritual duties to do, some worship and also offering and charity, taking the blessings of the other seniors. So they had some religious duties to perform. So anyone who had their birthday would not actually join that day for herding the cows, because herding the cows is also work for them. Like if you consider from the elders' point of view, it's part of their duty. So they think, okay, let's give a break. Though for the cowherd boys, it's the most pleasurable thing to do because they are spending their time with Krishna and Balaram and enjoying in the forest. It's not like a work or a duty. It's fun for them. But in the eyes of their parents, okay, let's give a break to our kid this day. They don't need to go to the forest and be in the sun and roam around and work hard. That's why they keep them at home, give them a special bath, and also feed them special food, and take them around, and also receive the blessings of the seniors, give in charity, and all of those religious functions also they performed. So in order for them to actually spend that day with the kid throughout, instead of just sending the kid away, so they kept the boys, whenever their birthdays were there or any special days, they kept them at home. So this particular boy did not come, and Pralamba, who was spying around Vrindavan, realized, oh, this boy is not going today. So let me actually assume this form of the cowherd boy. So he exactly replicated the cowherd boy in terms of appearance and the behaviors, and came late to join them. So Krishna and Balaram and all the cowherd boys, hey, how did you come today? Like, you're not supposed to come. We thought we are not going to come. He said, no, I just could not stay away from any of you, so that I convinced my parents, so that's why I joined you a little late, but I'm here. So they were all very happy. However, Krishna could immediately understand that this is not my friend. None of the others could, but Krishna thought, okay, let me just play along and see how far this goes. So then Krishna thought, and he is unlimitedly intelligent, so he immediately devised a plan. He said, let's all play today this particular game where we divide ourselves into two teams, that and whoever actually loses will carry the one who actually wins. The losing team will carry the winning team on their shoulders and run around. So the cowherd boys chose Krishna and Balaram as the leaders of the two parties. So one of the party had Krishna as the leader, and the other party was Balaram as the leader. And Pralamba thought, whose party to join, which is safe. So he thought, I'm very afraid of Krishna, so let me be on the party of Krishna. So then he won't actually kill me because I'm on his party. So then he took Krishna, like he took the side of Krishna and joined his party. However, that day actually Krishna lost the game wantedly to his friends. Many times he does that, but that day he specifically lost the game. So now Krishna's team has to carry Balaram's team. So Sri Dama was carried by Krishna that day. And in this way, different cowherd boys were carrying different from cowherd boys from the opposing party. And Pralamba chose Balaramji, the leader of the party. Ideally, Krishna should be carrying Balaram. The leader should be carrying the leader. But Pralamba was very eager. And Krishna realized, okay, he knows, he has full confidence in Balaramji. He says, okay. He lets actually Pralamba carry Balaramji. And Balaramji is the origin of all strength, but still in the Leela, he is not exhibiting all his strength because the sweetness is being revealed. So he's acting like a cowherd boy of his age and weight and all of that. So this Pralamba could actually lift Balaramji and keep him on his, make him sit on his shoulder. And they were all like running around. They were all like playing. You can imagine like a group of friends carrying each other and like running around in that forest. But Pralamba, in order to, because he wanted to harm or kill Balaramji, he took Balaramji slightly far away from everyone else. Balaramji was initially irritated because he wanted to be with his friends and he wanted to see how Krishna is carrying his teammates and all the other boys are carrying his teammates, and he wanted to tease them. He wanted to make noises and sounds and tease them, saying, oh, you all lost the game today. So he wanted to be with his friends to be able to enjoy the game. But this cowherd boy was carrying Balaramji farther and farther away from everybody. And he kept telling, hey, why are you carrying me far away? I want to be with my friends. Let's go there. So the cowherd boy did not listen to him. And he was just irritated and he was like trying to grab his attention. And Pralamba was unable to carry further. And the farther he came and he realized, oh, now I am far enough away from the cowherd boys and Krishna. So he immediately wanted to get to his mission. So he thought, let me kill Balaramji. So he started assuming his original form. So he started transforming his form into a bigger form. And that's when actually Anand Vrindavan Champu says a different flow of the pastime. But in the Bhagavatam, because different times they executed differently, the Bhagavatam gives that he assumed the form initially. And Balaramji was, okay, what is happening? And then he could realize, okay, this is not my cowherd boy friend, rather this is a demon. So Balaramji immediately assumed his original strength, and all he had to do was just take his fist and just hit on the demon. Like he was just irritated. So he just slightly actually just hits, but just that touch was so hard for Pralamba, so he completely crashes. And all the cowherd boyfriends, cowherd boys, they come and then they realize that this this huge demon with, like, the Bhagavatam is saying, he had blazing eyes and terrible teeth reaching towards his brows, and He had huge armlets, crowns, and earrings. So he was very huge in size. And seeing all of this, the god boys were so happy that they say sadhu sadhu. So they were so astonished to see how powerful Balaram, that he had killed this huge demon. So they all offer Balaram profuse benedictions. Somebody has just killed a huge demon, but they being friends, they're all like just congratulating and like, oh, like you, they're all like blessing him, they're all like glorifying him. And so their minds were completely overwhelmed with ecstatic love because their friend has just come out of a huge danger. So they immediately actually embraced him as if he had come back from the dead. So they were so happy. So this sinful Pralamba having been killed, even the demigods felt very happy and they showered flowers upon Balramji. So this is from the chapter 18 of Srimad Bhagavatam, that Lord Balaram slays the demon Pralamba. And here we see that in the book Demons in Krishna Leela, that Bhakti Vinod Thakur also speaks about all these demons representing certain anarthas, like how we spoke about due to our actions in this world, we create so many reactions, and because of them, we get bound. So in that way, there are many types of actions that we do that causes different kinds of reactions. Like some are simple. General in the course of general life, we perform things which are considered sinful or which are considered pious. And when we come to the practice of bhakti, knowingly and many times knowingly also we perform things which are not proper. So then they also create a certain kind of covering in our consciousness. And also there are actions, there are reactions that arise from serious offenses, serious attitudes of serious bad attitudes in devotional service. And in this way, there are many kinds of actions that cause trouble. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur speaks that how each of these demons that came in Vrindavan or in Krishna Leela represent some of those misgivings that we have. And Pralambasur specifically represents the inclinations or desires for personal gain or honor. So it's a very deep desire. So initially it assumes a certain way, a certain form that we may even like tuck it on inside in the form of service. So very easily it could be just disguised in the form of devotional service and being sincere, but there is a deep desire for personal gain or honor, and it can only be removed by the mercy of the spiritual master. So if we always act around the spiritual teacher that everything is fine, so then the spiritual master can see through and correct. However, unless we are open to it, it would be very difficult for even the spiritual teachers to correct. Like Srila Prabhupada in one instance gave a morning Bhagavatam class, and he was particularly emphasizing a principle. Very clearly, he emphasized a certain principle. And later, around noon time, Prabhupada would have his massage. From between 11 and 12, he would have his massage, take a shower, and then he would have his lunch around 12:30. So this day, the servant was massaging, and a particular devotee wanted Prabhupada's audience when the massage was happening. Prabhupada said, okay, ask him to come, we can speak while the massage is happening. And this devotee came and asked something which exactly contradicted the principle that Prabhupada spoke that morning. And Prabhupada just kept quiet, heard him fully, and then he told him, okay, do as you like. And he became very happy and he left. But the servant who was massaging was completely bewildered because the principle that he emphasized in the Bhagavatam class was different. And he gave an exactly opposing opinion currently, or like he granted a opposing opinion. So he asked, like, how is it that Prabhupada, this morning you spoke something different and now you are allowing this person to do exactly against it? He said, he came to inform me what are his plans. And already he is going against my desire. if I now say no, I know for sure he will eventually anyway do what he wants. So there will be another layer of offense that will come. So I didn't want to say anything, because by me giving him, don't do this, and I know he won't be able to follow, is only going to complicate his situation. He wanted to inform me, and I took the information. I said, okay. I did not give an instruction. He wanted to inform me, so I accepted that I am informed now. You can go ahead and do how you want to do it. So a spiritual teacher may sometimes not intervene very actively, because the disciple is not open to receive inputs, or not open to, or not surrendered enough to follow what is being ordered to, or what is being requested of the disciple. So here Pralamba is also initially coming in a disguise. So Balramji is initially not attacking him. So similarly, the tendencies that we have in our heart, it could be anything. Unless we actually take shelter of the spiritual teacher and express ourselves, and we take guidance from the spiritual teachers that we have in our lives, then we'll get the ability to actually overcome those faults. If we hush it, then eventually we'll be brought to a situation where we will have to open up, or we will have to compromise on our devotion practice. It can lead us to difficult situations. So here we see that Pralambasura, when he assumed and showed his real form, then Balramji immediately, it did not take a lot for Balramji. He didn't work hard to actually destroy the demon. All it was like a fist. So when we actually become real before our spiritual teachers and express our inability, then we will gain the strength. They can offer us the strength to be able to overcome our misgivings. So that is one principle we can see here in this pastime of Balramji, that how by taking shelter of the spiritual teacher, one's inclinations for sense enjoyment can be actually removed. Prabhupada said one of the topmost enemies for a practicing devotee is their tendency for sense enjoyment. And Prabhupada in one lecture says that how the tendency for sense enjoyment exactly is the perverted definition of what is bhakti. Sarvopadi vinirmuktam tatparatvena nirmalam hrishikena hrishikesha sevanam bhakti uchate. So it is engaging one's senses purely for the pleasure of Krishna, in the service of Krishna and his devotees, is devotional service. And sense enjoyment is exactly the opposite reflection of this. We use our senses and the sensory abilities and skills in order for us to actually enjoy, keeping ourselves as the center. We want to enjoy. And sometimes, unfortunately, we can use Krishna, Guru also in the service of that enjoyment. There is nothing wrong in like being happy in this world. Then basic needs of our senses, the basic needs of our existence, they can be actually fulfilled. However, what we are speaking is using the devotional paraphernalia, or the connections, or the philosophy, or the byproducts of our devotional service for in an egoistic way. So they say there are 4 kinds of disciples, because we are speaking on the Guru Tattva. There are 4 kinds of disciples. That one is Jayadvaji. He goes around waving the flag that I belong to such and such association, I belong to the International Society of Krishna Consciousness. So they will be very proudly expressing their affiliation with the spiritual teacher or a spiritual organization, but they may not actively assimilate the mood and practice and represent that particular institution or the spiritual teacher appropriately. So they're just like flag wavers. And you will see, you go to any political party's rally or something, there will be so many flag wavers. They'll all be carrying the flags of the particular party. You ask them, for what are you protesting? Sometimes they may not even be able to explain for what they are there. They're just like carrying the flag around. Sometimes we also see people carry the wrong flags in the wrong rallies. what the ideology that they are exactly opposing, that flag they'll be carrying around because they have no idea. They have just come for some material benefit, so they don't even realize what they are doing. So there can be disciples who are just like waving the flag, not understanding really why they are there and what they're supposed to do. And the other one is Guru Bogi, is one who enjoys the benefits of the that comes along with being a disciple of a particular spiritual master. And there is another one who is Guru Tyagi. He just gives up the bona fide spiritual master because of his own, like, what do you call, like weaknesses. And the other one is Guru Sevi, one who actually serves the spiritual master, understanding the mood of the spiritual master, and is surrendered to the spiritual teacher. So there can be many kinds of disciples. So there is sometimes in spiritual organizations which needs to happen very much. We speak about the qualifications of the guru a lot. Who can be a guru, who cannot be a guru, who's a liberated guru, who's not a liberated guru. Now this whole fallacy of Ritvikism is also around. So they just twist and turn their ideas into very silly but well dressed up argument, but completely hollow inside. So amidst all of these confusions, this is a day we also focus on what it takes to be a proper disciple. So Srila Prabhupada, I was just in the British Museum, and I was thinking Prabhupada deserves that big of a museum, his life. That Prabhupada went to every continent. What he did in those continents could be like an individual concept theme, and his pastimes of writing Bhagavad Gita can be a theme. His pastimes of writing Bhagavatam can be a theme. We could trace where he wrote which canto, in which place, in what circumstances. And his writing Chaitanya Charitamrita could be a museum exhibit, how all the devotees worked hard and made it all happen in 18 months. And yes, Srila Prabhupada, then his other outreach and all the parks that he walked in the world, that all the places that he visited. So it can be like a huge town that we just exhibit, like if only the devotees had the means and the ability. That the world needs to know this. What is the use of knowing who's Jane Austen? Like I have nothing against Jane Austen, but in the sense, like if people of this world whose works are so temporary, if they can receive such fame and exhibitions and museums, what to speak of someone who walked this face of earth only for the benefit of it and gave the greatest fortune of bringing spiritual wisdom to millions and millions of people. And the world is as foolish it is. We all fail to recognize the greatness of someone like Srila Prabhupada. It is the misfortune of the world and also the pending duty of devotees, that how are we going to make the world understand the greatness of sadhu that who walked around us, amidst us, not very far, not very long ago. So Srila Prabhupada being one of those practical manifestations of Sri Balaramji deserves all worship and can take all our surrender. Whatever we can give, we can actually give everything in the service of Prabhupada. He really deserves that. So to be able to do that, because currently so much engagement in one's senses and sense and enjoyment, I see my own ability to serve is severely curtailed because of the inability to overcome the tendencies for sense enjoyment. So offering this prayer humbly with whatever strength I have, to be able to understand the great fortune that has been bestowed upon through the form of devotional service by Balaramji, by Srila Prabhupada, by my spiritual master, and all the devotees, and again reorienting the compass, that let me not again do devotional service in a coward way, again continuing my sense enjoyment. Rather, utilize this opportunity to actually please the senses of the Supreme Lord and the spiritual master and the devotees. And in that way, be situated in the original position, Krishnera Nityadas. That Balramji's only mode is that he serves the Supreme Lord in all possible ways, in all rasas. And his only desire is to actually make the conditioned soul also understand that the original inclination, the original nature of the soul is to serve the spiritual master, is to serve the Supreme Lord. So the whole mission of Balaramji is to make us understand that we are not here to serve our senses, but we are here to actually become servants of Krishna. That's his only teaching. Even in the Parama Karuna Bhajan, we sing that give up sense enjoyment and take the names of Lord Hari. That's the simple formula that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu, who's also Nityananda Balaram, is non-different from Lord Balaramji, that Nityananda Prabhu gave this formula of giving up sense gratification and the tendencies to criticize, especially other devotees. So giving up the tendency to criticize and the tendency to enjoy one's senses, if we can just utilize our tongues in chanting the holy names in a sincere way, attentive way, then we will be reinstated in our situation of being the servant of the Supreme Lord. So the esoteric things are revealed in such simple ways by the mercy of Balaramji and Nityananda Prabhu. So we offer our prayers and beg for forgiveness for being so covered and for being so stupid that life after life that we have stayed away from the service of the Supreme Lord, despite all the efforts that the Supreme Lord takes by coming himself, by sending a spiritual master, by sending the spiritual teachers, so many spiritual literatures, so much. Basically, you can take the horse to the river, but you cannot make the horse drink water. So whatever is in his strength, Krishna is doing. And we do with all the strength we have, we try to even overcome the plans of Krishna. So praying for the blessings of Balaramji, Grantaraj, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Sharan ki jai. Govinda, Hare Krishna.
Pure devotional service. I bow down to his lotus feet with great awe and reverence. By his grace, one can cross the ocean of material suffering. Attain the mercy of Krishna. My only wish is to have my consciousness purified by the words emanating from his lotus mouth. Attachment to his lotus feet is a perfection that fulfills all desires. He opens my darkened eyes and fills my heart with transcendental knowledge. He is my Lord, birth after birth. From him, ecstatic brain emanates. By him, ignorance is destroyed. Vedic scriptures sing of his character. Our spiritual master is the ocean of mercy, the friend of the poor and Lord asks devotees. Oh, Master, be merciful to us and give us the shade of lotus feet. May your fame be spread all over the three worlds. We take up the lotus feet. Prabhupada.
Thank you, Janitai Prabhu, for close-up darshan. Jai Arjuna Prabhu.
Jai Haribol.
Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, welcome to the Afterglow. Adipusha Prabhu, are you here? Would you like to take questions on behalf of Gaur Sharan and Guru Parampara? Okay, dear devotees, please go ahead. Raise your hand if you have a question. If not, Adipusha Prabhu, please unmute yourself and say something uplifting.
Hare Krishna. Wonderful class. Very important philosophical points about different ways that people approach the spiritual master, different degrees of sincerity. Someone may approach Guru just for blessings, not asking, be very careful not to ask for instruction. He might ask me to do something I don't want to do. Kurukshetra moment, like Krishna asked Arjuna to fight, even against his relatives and his teacher, right? It might be awkward, unpleasant, unexpected. So, they have this thing called a wolf in sheep's clothing. You ever hear that?
Yeah.
A wolf is dangerous, but if a wolf disguises himself as a sheep, he can get very close in that disguise, like this demon disguised himself to be like a cowherd boy. So sometimes Maya disguises herself as devotional service. I've got so much service to do that I can't come to class in the morning. I got so much service to do that I can't chant my rounds. So we have to be very careful not to come under the influence of pseudo devotional service. But if we are sincere, then Balaram is there to kill the demon. We ask the Guru, what is your instruction? How can I serve you? And in the context of that submissive inquiry and our obedience to what the Guru has to do, we are protected, right? So we have to be careful of the wolf in sheep's clothing. And we want to just not just use the takeaway. It was already explained very nicely by Prabhu.
Thank you, Adipusha Prabhu. Min has her hand up.
Thank you. I wanted to ask a question. It's interesting hearing about these demons and how they represent their qualities, how their qualities exist within us, and those qualities that are demoniac within us must be destroyed. I was one, and Gaur Sharan was speaking about how the demon he was speaking about today represents our ego in a way that wants to be better than anyone and take credits for things. That's not exactly what he said, but that's sort of how I understood it. Because that's something I've been recognizing within myself. And there's a lot of stress on having a guru to correct us in that. Not having a guru at this point, what do I do about that? Because I do see and sense these poor qualities within me, even in very subtle ways, but I see how my false ego is in working hardcore. And so I do have a strong connection with Balaram as my teacher, or one who sent me all these amazing teachers in my life. So do I pray to him, or Adipusha, do you have any suggestions as to how I, at this point in my practice without a guru, mitigate all these poor qualities within me?
As usual, very intelligent question, very important point. There's the gross sense gratification, and then what's called subtle sense gratification, the desire for profit, adoration, or distinction. And interestingly enough, if we do something in devotional service, people will respect that, appreciate that, praise that, right? So subtly, we might be asking for prominence, adoration, profit, and distinction, Prabhupada says. But it comes. Now, what to do with that when you're actually just trying to serve Krishna and somebody says, oh, you're doing such nice service. What do we do with that, right? We say, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. We pass it on. We don't say, no, 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 no. We say, yes, yes. We accept this appreciation, but we want to say, by the grace of my spiritual master, I was inclined to do this because he asked me to.
But she was without a guru. That's the question. I can't hear you.
I'm just waiting for you to finish asking so I can get to speak.
I'm sorry.
It's a good question, and it's important. You can say, I have no guru, but Bhaktisiddhanta was instructed by his father to accept a spiritual master, even though he memorized Bhagavad Gita from the time he was 7 years old and could explain it. He was a Naishtika brahmachari. He was, very intelligent and already preaching. And he said he went to Gaur Das Babaji, and Babaji said, no, I don't accept disciples. And when he went back to his father, he said he won't accept me. And Bhakti Vinod Thakur said to him, you have no guru because you want no guru. You must really, really, really want the shelter and the connection and the relationship with the spiritual master. So he went back and he was crossing a bridge over the river, and he saw Gaur Das Babaji coming, and he jumped up on the railing of the bridge. And Babaji said, what are you doing? He said, if you don't accept me as a disciple, I'm going to jump in the river and drown myself. And Babaji said, no, I will accept you. If we may say, I have no spiritual master, but the point is, do you want one? And then it says, when the disciple is ready, Guru will appear in our life. And we may not be initiated yet, but because we're desiring and approaching, someone, and we say, I'm not initiated, but what would I have to do between now and the time when you accept me as the disciple? And then the Guru gives you preliminary instructions. Chant 16 rounds, attend the morning program, the class, worship Krishna, follow the principles, study the Shastra, associate with devotees, engage in some service. So we may think, I'm not initiated yet, but we can be, if we're on that path, then we're equally protected.
And how many years it took Srila Prabhupada to become formally initiated by his guru?
Class today, he waited years before he was initiated. This is what I must do, and let me take the steps in that direction. You may be going to California, maybe not be there yet, but if you're on the road and you're making one step at a time, then you get the same. What happens is Krishna is pleased that you're doing your humble best at that moment, that you're desiring properly. It says first we have to know what's right, then we have to want it, then we begin to speak about it, and then we begin to, in a preliminary stage, start to do some service, and then gradually we come deeper and deeper to the point where it becomes our life's breath. We become absorbed in devotional service. But at any stage, if we're doing our best at that moment, Krishna is pleased, right? Does that answer your question?
I like the portion where you said that. Well, I don't know if it exactly applies to me, but it's giving it to Prabhupada, sort of turning everything towards Prabhupada. Any credit, and I don't really have a lot of credit to take at this point whatsoever, but I asked this question because there is something there, I think, when I feel like self-satisfied, not in a truthful, eternal way, but because of my false ego. And I see that I want to take credit for some things, and I've observed that it's getting in the way of chanting actually, nicely. So that's why I brought up that question. But I liked your answer of giving everything that's, to Prabhupada. And yes, thank you.
Look at Guru. He is receiving respect and praise, glorified, right? And why is it he doesn't fall down? Because he doesn't think it's for me. He doesn't think. If we reject it thinking it's for me, or we accept it thinking it's for me, it's the same thing. But if we naturally take a step, like going to class or asking a question, or doing some service and people appreciate that, that's normal. And we we want to encourage people. We want to inspire people. It's not that no, do not praise me. Yeah, we accept that and we say, what can I tell you? My spiritual master is turning me into a jewel. By the grace of Guru. I told you that story. We went to this one preaching engagement in South Jersey, right?
I'm not sure if I heard it.
We we went there and it was an Indian family, massive mansion house with a gigantic crowd of Indian devotees in front of it chanting to welcome us when we drove up in the vehicle. Then the devotee who was with me walked down the path to the house and everybody was chanting like mad. And the lady of the house snapped her fingers and they brought out a big chair. So the devotee was carrying little Gaur deities and sat down in the chair. And then the devotee, the Mataji, she clapped her hands and the children came out and they had a big bowl and a pitcher and a towel over the arm. And the devotee realized they're going to wash my feet. I told you this, right?
I think so. I don't remember hearing.
Ran back to the car, screaming, I'm not worthy, I'm not worthy, I'm not worthy. Ran into the car, jumped in the car, closed the door, locked the door, and closed the curtain. And the kirtan stopped. And then the lady looked at me and said, Adi, and she pointed toward the chair. And I was thinking, I'm going right back to the car also. I remember Prabhupada said to us, you accept this on my behalf. I sat down in the chair and this beautiful Indian girl with a gold filigree sari and jasmine flowers in her hair, she knelt down on the ground, started taking off my socks, washing my feet with warm milk. And the kirtan started up again, and then she was drinking the milk as it was coming off my feet. I was just sitting there like, oh my God. And I went back and I told my authority what happened. He said, see, if you reject it thinking it's for you or you accept it thinking it's for you, it's the same damn thing. But we accept this on Srila Prabhupada's behalf. And we offer it to Guru and he offers it to Krishna. And they're trying to, we are endeavoring to inspire people and include them and invite them and request that they engage in service. And it looks like they're giving you a donation. But you're thinking, this isn't for me, this is for Krishna service.
Is that devotee still alive, or did she die the next day, or was it an immediate thing?
That devotee has left the body, that's true.
I knew it.
In a glorious way, in devotional service. But at that point, the reject, you go to the bank and you go to give the teller some Lakshmi, and the teller goes, no, I cannot accept this. You say, put it in the till, stupid, it's not for you, right? So we do accept praise, donations, we do accept people that want to help us in our service to Krishna, but we never think it's for me. That's called transparency. What we have to say is only what we've heard from Guru and Shastra, and whatever credit is coming, we offer that to Guru and Shastra. It's transparent both ways. Min, does that answer your question a little bit?
Yeah, it's really helpful. Thank you so much.
You are glorious. See, we're going to praise you now. You are very sincere. You are inspiring us with your intelligent questions. And what do you say when somebody says that to you?
All glory to Prabhupada.
Right. It's got to be a reflex, just like that when they say, Jaya, all glory to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna, all glory to the assembled, Hare Krishna, all glory to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. We, just as a reflex, we pass it on. The lightning rod on the top of the building gets hit by lightning, but there's a cable running from the lightning rod into the ground. So all that heat and power and energy goes right down the cable into the ground. But if it wasn't attached to that cable, the lightning rod would melt and the building would burn down, right? We have to pass it on. It's dangerous to think it's for me or to reject it thinking it's for me. But if I want profit, adoration, and distinction myself, then that's inappropriate, and we'll get burned.
I have a pastime between two Maharajas. Radhanath Maharaj, and I forget the name of the other Maharaj at New Vrindavan. This Maharaj went to touch Radhanath Maharaj's feet. And in wrestling, when somebody shoots for the legs, a takedown, or shooting for the feet, you sprawl. That means you kick your legs back and your chest downward, and you bury the guy when he tries to go for your feet. And Maharaj did that, and he, knowing full well this other Prabhuji, and he was a sannyas, knew wrestling, and Maharaj used to be a wrestler.
Right.
So they wrestled. It was wild because my fear was that they're simply tied, whatever they call the dress, the dhotis that the sannyasis wear would come off during this wrestling match. But it was a thing of great humor to see them wrestling to see who could get to the other devotee's foot first. And they struggled. There was a little bit of sweat involved, and I will have you know that Maharaj won. He got to the feet of the other devotee first. So I think in juxtaposition to what Adi is saying about passing it along, one can always give it on back. Someone praises you, you just say, well, whatever, you know, all glories to Prabhupada, but you, my dear, are such a wonderful devotee. Even in the sound of your voice, one can see that you have pure intent, and that's all that's needed. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, there's varieties of ways of responding, but
Thank you.
accepting it is an interesting thing.
We have Madan Gopal Prabhu again to speak. Madan Gopal Prabhu, please.
Hare Krishna, and thank you, Adi Gurush Prabhu, for such a beautiful reflection. I think it hits the nail on the head, and the point about humility being misunderstood. And of course, you know, when we don't currently have a guru, say initiating guru, to help us identify and correct these issues, this is not like you're not alone in this. There are many devotees who have been practicing for many, many years, but this waiting, you're waiting. But this waiting time doesn't have to be wasted time. You don't have to, like, without that, I'm not going to make any progress, because remember that this initiating guru is not the only guru, right? We have Chaitya Guru, who is Krishna in the heart. It's called Chaitya Guru. It's not just called Chaitya something, it's Guru. So of course, Lord Balaram is the original guru, and you yourself said, yes, pray to Lord Balaram, 100%. The Chaitya Guru in the heart is expansion of Lord Balaram. He gives spiritual strength, right? He's the original Guru, and we can pray, please remove my hidden pride, and so on. Then, of course, Adi Prabhu mentioned taking shelter of Prabhupada's books, because Prabhupada is the Shiksha Guru for the entire ISKCON and the rest of the world too. So Shiksha Guru is also Guru. And if you're looking for corrections, you will find the correction in his books. I mean, if you let's look up this in the 13th chapter of the Gita. Prabhupada defines humility. He says humility means that one shouldn't be anxious to have the satisfaction of being honored by others. He's so precise. It's the anxiety for it that we need to get rid of. But if you have a sense of satisfaction that you're honored, that's okay. That's not unhumble. It's okay. But to be anxious, oh no, what if I don't get recognition? That anxiety needs to be given up. You see, you need to be chill. You need to be peaceful about it. So that Prabhupada teaches it so beautifully. So Prabhupada is our guru too. And then even if you don't have a formal guru, Krishna speaks to us through the lectures and talks of senior devotees. Of course, you're attending classes regularly, so you're hearing from so many devotees during the Bhagavatam program here and others live. This is again Guru in action. And you know, in the Nectar of Instruction, there's this idea of opening your heart to a close friend, to other devotees. So even a close friend who is sincere and grounded and humble, that friend can also act as a guru in a moment. You know, just being in the presence of humble devotees can help us mirror our subtle pride back to us, gently but firmly. So I've seen that sometimes, even if I'm just trying to understand what it means to be humble, and no matter how many things I read, but if I actually see how a devotee is humble responds, how they go about, how even their facial reactions to certain things, and how they graciously accept praise and recognition so beautifully. Oh, it makes so much difference. You don't need any words. You just see it in their actions. And then, of course, surefire ways of killing the desire for personal glory. Couple of things. Do service that nobody notices. It's so grounding. Do a service that is meaningful, but nobody will notice, and no one will notice. 2, give credit to others. Genuine, sincere credit when you see it. And 3, serve somebody.
Do what?
Yeah, your thing. You need to pay this stuff now. It's been here for.
Serve somebody who cannot repay us. You see, so if you give credit to others, you serve someone who cannot repay us, because hey, and you do service nobody notices. These things are direct antidotes to that pralambasura in the heart. So even before the formal guru appears, Krishna is already working through Shiksha gurus and your own sincere heart and association with so many others to help you become ready. So that's just wanted to summarize a few things.
Wow, thank you so much, Gopal. That was so nice. Thank you.
Thank you for asking, Min. Thank you for answering Adipurusha Prabhu and Madam Gopal Prabhu. It's very helpful. Sa, you will be the finisher today.
Hare Krishna. I had a really just a selfish inquiry, and I was really cranky, and I was content with being cranky. And now hearing these transmissions, gratitude has once more seized my mind. So thank you, everyone. I actually do. I am really curious though. Actually, who was that woman that was singing? And I would say that as I've been listening to these lectures, these communications, that yeah, getting me out of my not so happy mood. I kind of just surrendered and was just like, you know what? My heart feels activated right now, and I can make the conscious choice to either, kind of be like, or, speak as I am right now. So thank you everyone here for being my guru today. And Hare Krishna.
Sa is the real deal. He says, thanks everyone for being my guru. That's the mood. That's the mood, Sa. Thank you so much.
But who's the lady who was singing though? I'm truly curious.
Who's the lady who's chanting every morning? Govinda Madipurna?
Is she a professional singer? Because I really do feel called to.
Emotional singer. Are you part of the WhatsApp group?
No, I'm not.
Okay, we're going to put the link to WhatsApp group and we'll post information about Jamuna Devi in the WhatsApp group. It's Jamuna Devi, Srila Prabhupada's disciple. Okay, Sarah Prabhu, please recite Hare Krishna Maha Mantra for us.
Since we have Sri Ram's blessings, a little something for him. Thank you for blessing him. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Raghupati Raghav Raja Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol.
Thank you, Sarah Prabhu.
Thank you everyone.
Devaki Priti, thank you. Okay, Hare Krishna everyone, we love you, we need you. Here is Jainitai Prabhu. Look at this textbook Brahmana here. Okay.